Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of Focused Alpha. What we're going to try to do here is discuss all things happening in the Solana NFT ecosystem. Sometimes we'll go out into other chains like Ethereum and Near if there's something interesting, but primarily we're going to stick focus to the Solana ecosystem because that's honestly where we spend most of our time. Each week, we'll cover the mints on our radar as well as updates or changes to projects that we've been watching or we're a part of. Just a disclaimer, this content is for entertainment and informational purposes only. Nothing said here should be taken as financial advice. All right, let's get right into the show. All right, I'm here with Dev Pocky here for our first episode. We're just going to be breaking down some of the upcoming mints and some thoughts on that we have on the Solana NFT ecosystem here. So we each got a list of some things that we're going to be trying to mint for the next week, starting or the next 7 days. This is recording this on January 12th, 2022. For the next 7 days, these are the projects that we're kind of looking at to try to get into. So Dev Pocky, why don't you get us started?
Yeah. So I don't know. What do we want to talk about? Let's see. We got our list for the week. Obviously, this morning it started with Bull Empire, but unfortunately, I was not whitelisted on that one. I thought I was, but I wasn't. But that's doing well.
What was the mint and what is it at now as we're recording this?
Let's see. The mint, I believe, was like 0.59. So it was definitely a good price to get in. And the last I checked, I think it was probably a 15 floor.
15 floor for a 0.59 mint? Jeez.
15 floor, yeah. So I mean,
was the supply super low or something?
I think it was only like about 2,000 something. So yeah, if I'm looking at it right now, it's dropped a little bit to 12.
Still a pretty good return.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so it's about 12. But I mean, you're talking like almost a little under or a little over half a sol, and that's how many X already? About over 20 some X.
What was the reason that people wanted to get into that one?
Well, if anyone's following Solana NFTs, they probably heard about Monkey Kingdom. And we all know how well that one went. That one went all the way up to almost 100, I think. But yeah, that was driven a lot by the Hong Kong, Asia kind of flow of money. You know, the whole idea that Asia has a lot of money nowadays and they're looking for some place to spend that money. And they're seeing NFTs as, you know, that status symbol, especially following Bored Apes Yacht Club and stuff. And so this Monkey Kingdom became or wanted to become that new status symbol. And basically Bull Empire is kind of doing the same thing.
Targeting Asia.
Yeah, targeting Asia. They got, I guess, a relatively popular girl. What was her name? Momo something.
I don't know. I wasn't even following this project. I wasn't even on my radar.
Yeah, they had a pretty, they're obviously hitting towards the younger Asia crowd, younger Asian crowd. They're in Hong Kong, based from my understanding. But yeah, they got some celebrities going on it, and even like Monkey Kingdom, they got that pretty top Asia singer JJ Lin. He had bought some, and so after that, they just went fire. But anyways, basically, Bull Empire is trying to catch that same kind of ride, and so far it seems to be working decently well.
You think it's worth it to try to snipe and get in, or it's pretty high already? The higher it gets for me, like the more I'm like, it has, just for me personally, like it has more room to fall if it's coming at 12, but then also has more room to run if it's a project with like a lot of potential. Like I was watching Monkey Kingdom when it was around this price. I was like, man, that's way too high already, and then it just kept running.
Yeah. There's certain projects where like if it hits, even like Monkey Kingdom or even this one for that matter, like 12 floor for me right now, it's just too high, especially because there's already been Monkey Kingdom and this is kind of like a semi-derivative of that. In general, I've kind of changed my philosophy in terms of secondary is to almost 80 to 90% just don't do it.
Right.
It's just not worth it usually, unless it's like no more than like 2 to 5x from mint. I'm most likely not gonna do secondary for that. I'm just gonna sit on the sideline and cry.
Yeah. That's what I'm kind of doing too, because I've been getting stuck in a lot of projects that just dump in rug right away when I right after I buy it on secondary. So I kind of want to get out of that habit. So
Right.
very cool.
I do still find that some of these projects that have that major hype, such as Bull Empire, that it's worth it to try to get that whitelist as much as possible.
Right. Isn't
I'm a
it, I
little
think it seems like that whitelisting thing is kind of becoming the norm for Solana NFTs more. I mean, it's a thing on Ethereum NFTs too. Like that's kind of what people do as
Mhm,
well. But it seems like without the whitelist these days, you can't even get into some of these projects anymore.
right. Any of the hype ones, for sure. Like I feel like if you're not on that whitelist, it's almost not worth minting. Like this Bull Empire one, I didn't even bother waking up for it. It was to be fair, it was at 3 a.m. So I mean,
Yeah.
it would have to be really worth it for me to wake up. Like I'd have to be sure that I'm gonna get one. But um, yeah, I didn't bother.
Yeah. Very cool. So, well, that one's done.
But
We can't really offer anything, but that's an interesting one. I didn't even, I saw it some, there wasn't really a lot of people in Monkey DAO talking about it, but I did see it a little bit on Twitter.
mm,
Uh,
I mean, I was kind of following that whole hype of that Monkey Kingdom stuff. So like even um before Bull Empire there was the Lion Cats, and then there was Baby Bulls. I got into Lion Cats. I don't even remember how, but I got on the whitelist on that one, so I minted one or two. I forget. Anyways, and then Baby Bull, did I get one? Yeah, Baby Bull, I got two. But anyways, since Lion Cats was the first one, they shot up too. You know, they went all the way up, I think, to 20, and then Baby Bulls also, I think, went up to maybe about 10 to 15. But I mean, I mean, you can kind of see how things kind of just gradually go down in terms of their potential.
right. That's
But
just kind of
there's,
like the cycles, right? The normal, like in
yeah,
Ethereum, like I haven't done Ethereum NFTs in a long time, but we see the same thing in Ethereum. Like when Bored Ape Yacht Club popped, you had like a bunch of these projects that were copycat Bored Ape Yacht Club projects. Everybody had similar naming conventions and similar roadmaps. And not that the roadmap means anything too much anymore.
mm,
Kind of similar strategies. And then when something else comes up, then people kind of try to emulate that and copy that a little bit. Like when what is that, the wolf game or that sheep game thing came out? A lot of
right,
derivative projects came out of that too.
right.
So maybe this Asia targeting Asia market kind of idea is kind of like in a cycle right now in Solana.
I mean, it's definitely kind of still there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, you could still make money off of it. Like I made good money off of Lion Cats and Baby Bulls, but um, at some point it's just going to be kind of, oh, it's another derivative and nobody's going to want to buy it, and you probably only make maybe at most 1 or 2x, if
Yeah.
any. But yeah, some people don't like it. They don't like the idea, like, oh, I'm not going to buy any derivative of dragons or something like that. um but hey, I mean, if you're there to just make money, I mean, sometimes just watch it, be
Yeah.
realistic about it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. All right. I got some on my list too that's coming up. Nothing like super crazy or anything, just things that I'm kind of interested in. I'm kind of stuck. Like the reason I think I'm not super profitable at NFTs because I get stuck as a collector a lot rather than a trader. And so a lot of these things are some of the things that I'm minting are just like, oh, because I got to know the people involved and I just like the people. And those are like if you're in it to make money, those aren't the best ways to go about it. But it's still cool to be a part of it. I just realized I was looking at it this morning because I was like, I was watching where I just was thinking about like how long have I been doing this when we're prepping for this podcast? And Solana Monkey Business, I minted in I looked, it was like August 3rd of last year. So Solana NFTs have only been around for a little while. So I think it's like pretty much any of these early projects are kind of can have potential to be like pretty big in the future. But one that I'm kind of looking at um this weekend, or I don't know if I should go in chronological order. I'll just do this one first because it's the one that I'm kind of like really interested in. Is another, I think, trend that I've been observing on Solana for NFTs is utility NFTs or like tool NFTs, like getting access to things. And so one of the guys in Grim Syndicate is put together this project called View Solana. And I think it's called he has another name for his the product that's going to be coming out, but he has like an existing product called View Solana, and he has it's going to be called Alpha Alerts, his new product. He's doing a drop for an access token, basically an access NFT token, this Saturday. What is that? January 10th at 5 p.m. UTC. And the price for the whitelist is 1 SOL, and then the public is 2 SOL. The supply is only 750 tokens, so it's really small. But what basically this thing gives you access to, the tool that it gives you access to, is something that's pretty common on Ethereum, but I haven't really seen it on Solana, is tracking whale wallets. So what he's done is he's basically built this tool that allows you to see the top traders in the Solana ecosystem based upon their performance in Magic Eden, Solana Art, Digitalize, Alpha Art. I think he's like aggregated everything and just compared profitability for the trades for each of these things. And so the idea being, a lot of this is a really popular strategy in Ethereum, is you just follow whale wallets and you just do whatever they're doing, kind of just like tracking Nancy Pelosi's trades. You just trade whatever she's trading on the stock market. I guess the similar idea. You just follow these whale wallets and you just mint whatever they're minting a lot of, and then you try to sell when they're selling, or before, right when they're selling, you try to get out too. And so his thing is minting this Saturday for 1 SOL. It's kind of interesting because I've been kind of getting into a lot of these. I'm getting kind of not screwed, but I've been buying a lot more of like these utility NFTs because the market is becoming so much more challenging to participate in without any kind of tools these days, because botting has always been an issue since the beginning. Pretty much since Candy Machine was deployed for the Degen apes, people figured that out, and people have been botting and doing things. And like, if you're someone like me who doesn't have technical ability, you kind of almost need to get some kind of tools to compete in some way.
Yeah.
So,
and I think it's funny how when New Neon came out first, right? That was the first what do you call it? Backdoor minter type thing. The first
the on-chain minting
advantage tool that people could get. And everybody would jump in and be like, "Oh, that's just botting, you guys. That's so bad. You know, how dare you do that?" And of course, now there's all these other tools coming out, and everybody's like, "Oh, well, which tool do you have?"
I think
it's no longer a problem.
It's kind of crazy because, I mean, like, that's the thing, right? Like, human beings will gravitate to that, and I've been trying to like stay pure and stay away from it, but it's pretty much like kind of like high speed trading and front running on the stock market these days, where people are doing it at such a rate where you kind of almost have to do it to compete. But I mean, botting is something that's, I don't know, like, what are your thoughts on botting? I'm kind of interested because you're a developer, you know how to code and things, and I know like a lot of the people that bot are also people that are helping set up mints for people. Like they're getting hired to set up mints, the candy machines and things for artists. So I don't know, man. Like, it's kind of like people do it in high speed trading for stocks. People front run things for stocks with high speed trading. I don't know. I'm kind of conflicted. I don't like the idea of botting, but I also understand that's probably the direction. The reality is that's probably the direction that the whole ecosystem will go, because Ethereum went the same way. It's pretty much impossible to mint any popular project on Ethereum without either a whitelisting, like a strict whitelist, or some kind of tool.
Yeah. I mean, I overall, I dislike, people like stepping over the boundaries and finding their own like means outside of the way that we all kind of semi agreed on, right? Like, hey, we should all go to this website and we all have a fair chance in doing this thing. But I mean, for the greater good of the ecosystem, I get it. Like, I get it that if somebody is figuring out a way around it, then it is forcing the system to address it. That I can understand and get behind.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously it has worked, because, you got those guys like Jordan working on the Candy Machine too, to help improve that. And it's happened, right? They've actually somewhat improved it. They have a better system for dropping white list instead of like an earlier Candy Machine link. I mean, that's pretty rudimentary, right, when you think about it. So the fact that they've done that, and it forces that to happen, it to me is a good thing.
Yeah.
So like
It's
it
kind of like an
furthers
arms
the
race, right?
ecosystem.
Like it's an
Yeah,
arms race from
exactly.
now on. Yeah.
Right, exactly. And so in that regards, okay, I get that. And there's always going to be people that will make money off of some kind of problem, right?
Mhm.
So you got these guys that are saying like, okay, I'm going to make this tool now to help everybody else get advantage. Um, I mean, that's just kind of how it works, right? Like even with the hurricanes and all the damage, right? There's people out there that are gonna try
Right.
to do something. And
Right. Yeah.
the
Take
idea
advantage of
then is
situations.
exactly, and so the idea is to just try to figure out, okay, well, how do we prevent that from happening next time? So
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's kind of good. Like it's kind of crazy because I remember minting DGen apes and that was just like a complete mess. And that's where Candy Machine came from. Was I didn't really even realize that that's where it kind of came from. Was the DGen apes
right,
mint where they quickly developed that minting system, and it was pretty much like a hot fix for them because they didn't really understand like how popular that project was going to be. Because prior to that, I remember when I minted Solana Monkey Business, it really was just like send Sol to this address and we'll send you an NFT back. And that was the same for Solarians too. It was like send Sol to this address and we'll send you one back. And
yeah.
Solana was prior to that too was send Sol to this address and we'll send you some back.
But and what's interesting, I think, right now is when so yeah, I don't know if you've been watching that whole near system coming up, and like everybody's jumping in
Yeah,
onto
everybody's
that.
jumping in on it.
But like going into that, it feels like Solana again, where it's like this is brand new. Nobody knows what to do. There
Mhm.
is no minting system right now. There's no candy machine or anything. And exactly, people are just like, okay, I'm gonna send you this much near for I'm gonna send it you, the artist. I'm gonna send you this near, and
Hope you don't
I'm gonna
rug
hope,
me.
yeah, I'm gonna hope you send it back to me. And some people do get it, and I've already heard of some rugs where people don't.
I'm pretty sure
So
that's how Cardano NFTs still run today. I'm not
really,
certain, but
wow.
I think that's what they're still doing over there. I haven't done any yet, but yeah.
Mm,
But yeah, that's kind of a good way to think about it. Like the more that these tools come out and people are trying to profit off these pickaxes and shovels method, then the people that are on the other side are going to need to step up their game and improve
right.
Candy Machine again. Because right now, like the general strategy to prevent botting is you launch a bunch of honeypots on Candy Machine, right? Like you do a bunch of
Yeah.
honeypots and then you try to whitelist and pray that you just
Yeah.
still don't get botted with that because yeah,
I
I don't know.
honestly feel like a lot of projects are actually doing that to get more money too.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, like I was kind of thinking about that. It's probably like a I'm not that I would do it, but it's probably like a pretty profitable way to make like a few extra soul. Like you just set up
Oh
honeypots
yeah.
around projects and then get people to bot those.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I forget who it was. Was it Baby Boogles or
Yep.
anyway,
Yep.
somebody, yeah, they just put the honey pot up there first and they're like, all right, go ahead, Mint. And they cleared it out and then they say, oh, just kidding, here's a new one. Here's the actual one.
Yep. And then they rugged. Well, we can
Uh,
talk about that one a little later because I did get into that one, which was a terrible
yeah,
experience.
yeah.
You got anything else coming up this week?
This week's pretty slow for me. I mean, I have a bunch of mints that I looked at,
Hmm.
or that I have on the list, but I honestly have not looked into the details of it. But I mean, that's kind of how it goes, right? There's so many different types of projects where it's just like, oh, here's another project, here's another PF profile picture mint. So I don't know. The only interesting one, I suppose, was the one that you kind of talked about, blockheads, Solana
Hmm.
blockheads. That one I'll have to look into a little bit more. Um, the other ones that were kind of just, was Interstellar Apes. It's like almost a 2000 collection, but it's a one soul one, so pretty pricey.
Yeah.
Uh, I'd have to see if there's anything more deep into it. But almost all all the projects these days have some sort of coin or
Tokenomics to
yeah,
them.
some kind of hodling benefit. Um,
Yeah. Solana
Asia
blockheads
Plant,
is what, January 13th, 14th, and
January
then
13th, yeah, 14th, yeah.
0.75 to one soul for the minting, whitelist public, and then supply. I don't even know if they have a set supply, but I have on my notes 2633 for total
That's what I
supply.
have too. Yeah, but I think it might have been like a different number of supply for each type
I
or
see. I
something like
see.
that. Yeah, I'd have to. There was like 1,111 for 0.55. Oh no, sorry, that's a different project. There's 700 for 0.75, and then there's like 2633 for one slow. But yeah, they have two different mint dates, so I'd have to do a little digging into why they're different. But I mean, yeah. So I mean, I have Blockheads, Interstellar Apes, Geisha Clan. I don't even know why I really have that on my list, but
you probably just got on the whitelist and you wrote it down.
Yes, and that kind of highlights exactly how a lot of what I do these days is just jump onto the whitelist as fast as possible.
Yeah.
Once you get on it, then you come back again, look at your project list, and then decide, am I going to do this one? Yes or no? Am I going to do this one? Yes or no? But I mean, some of these, they can do well within like a few days. You can profit maybe 3 to 4x. But long term, highly unlikely.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing for NFTs that still like mess me up, is that I always forget that 95% of these projects aren't gonna make it, and then I just end up holding way too long. Like I still got my Solsteads. I still got both of them. Anyways,
I will say though, some of the projects, depending on who is doing them, like you mentioned earlier, that you like some of the team members, you like the devs and stuff like that. I think there's good value in that. Like if you know the team behind it and that they can execute well,
right?
It's worth staying in.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, that's kind of like the thing that I was trying to do more of is just do more docs team mints. And so like a lot of the things either like doxed or like I know them because they're in another community that I'm in. And also like just recently I've been wrecking myself because I've been doing just a bunch of degen cheap free mints and stuff, which is a terrible idea, but I've been doing that a lot. But yeah, it's I got to get into the mindset of being able to let go of things a little bit easier. I'm kind of like exit liquidity for a lot of people. I think I just buy and hold forever, never end up selling. So I'm more of a collector, like the comic book collector in me is not comic book trader. It's kind of still around, I guess.
And I think that's fair enough, depending on how much you spend on it. Like if you're minting it and you just like the collection, just keep it, because most mints are reasonable, I think.
Yeah. I got one coming up on Thursday, January 13th. This is an expensive one. It's one Sol mint, 11 p.m. UTC. Supply 3,300. It's called Forge Bots. It's actually one of the community leaders is from Grim Syndicate, so he's going to kind of talking about it. But it's also getting good reactions in Monkey DAO. A lot of people are in there interested. It's 3D art, so it's kind of similar to the Bounty Hunter Space Guild project with utility tokens in the future. And then their kind of play is they're developing 3D avatars for every single token for the metaverse portals and Desolates and Solana Town and stuff. So the reason I'm minting it though is because one of the guys is a pretty active Grim Syndicate member, Doc's team too. So they're probably not gonna rug. It's kind of like, right, your rug insurance is like if the team is Docs, then it's kind of hard for them to get away.
Right.
So it's an expensive mint, but I'm just looking at it. I'm probably gonna do. I'm on the whitelist, so I'll end up minting.
I mean, that brings up the whole point about the different types of projects that we're running into right now, right? Metaverse, that's becoming a huge thing right now. And then there's play to earn. So I feel like those are the two big ones that are really starting to attract a lot of people,
right?
Attract a lot of investors and stuff.
Like the degenerate gambling ones. Are you talking about the stuff, or like
play to earn
mean,
true.
There's a lot of degen gambling NFT projects right now too. Like degen coin
that is
flip.
Another right. That's another one that's jumping into, but I don't know about that one. I feel like it would fade, but people gonna gamble, so maybe not.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I feel like I missed the entire boat for that one because I saw some of these early degen things and I was like, this is ridiculous. But people like degen coin flip, evidently.
I mean, yeah, I didn't admit any gambling ones at all or casino ones, but I did play the DGen Flip. I gotta say, I'm like, it's pretty fun. Well, I mean, obviously when you're winning, but
Yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah. Theoretically,
it's
50-50 chance of making more money, right? A 50-50 chance of
yeah,
losing money.
yeah. I mean, and when you think about it, the the um, the effort behind it probably isn't that much, right? You
Mm-hmm.
just gotta somebody click a button and you give them a 50-50 randomized chance of something and win double the money. But yeah, no, I haven't done anything with that.
Yeah. Is DGen coin flip a PvP too? Like you're doing it against other people. So like you load it in, you basically stake your soul and then you do that flip and then you're competing against somebody else who also did some kind of RNG or something.
I don't know if they've released that feature, but I've seen that feature before.
Oh, okay.
Like I've seen it on some other of the of any of those other gambling NFTs. I've seen
Mm-hmm.
that option before. But yeah, I mean it's cool. I like what they're doing because it kind of helps again, kind of the whole botting idea. That helps develop a lot of technologies.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
this could help with the gaming aspects of things. You know, like how you said that you can just um, I guess flip against another player. But it's all for the good in some sense, unless
Yeah.
people are losing plenty of money.
I guess that's a great the developer insights to these kind of tools and things that are coming out. It's like, yeah, that it is going to force developers to try to outsmart them. Like there was a mint yesterday, Hokkaido Frogs. I don't know if you saw
Mm,
that one. It was one of the guys in
mm,
Monkey DAO's project.
okay.
I was gonna mint it. I was on the whitelist, but they did like the old school drop the link early into the Discord waitlist, so I didn't end up getting any. But uh yeah, like I guess they ran like multiple candy machine IDs on the mint page too, so it kind of confused the botters. So
Mm.
that there is kind of like that arms race that you're talking about, where they're trying to figure out ways to get around that. But I think it still got botted because the floor price is below what is what the mint price is now. So um,
Yeah. I mean, at some point, I imagine the majority of people that, the normal people that are, they're thinking that they can get ahead with by botting and stuff. I eventually think that they'll get tired of hitting the honeypots. I mean, I've seen so many people are like, ah, shoot, I hit the wrong one. They're gonna
uh-huh.
get tired of losing that kind of money.
Yeah.
But but yeah, the fact that the tools are still there, um, and it's being generated, it's nice. Like I really like the idea of what Pawn Shop Nomis is doing.
Mm-hmm.
The one that does you stake your NFT for collateral and you get an actual loan from it. Um, that's
Yeah.
pretty cool. And you think about it in terms of what kind of development that requires. Like you gotta people need to put their faith into a system where you're gonna put a heavy duty NFT in there and you're actually gonna get it back at some point. Like that can be scary, but if you know that the developers behind it are good and they're developing something good, um, hey, I mean that's so much better for the ecosystem.
Right, right. Okay, I think that's kind of like a good segue into like the next section that I kind of wanted to have, where just like these projects that are kind of top of mind. And Pawn Shop know me is I minted and I still have one left. I just paper handed all the rest of them. You do you really like that project? I think it's kind of interesting. I've been debating like whether I should sell it because it's up a lot, since the mint.
Right.
But it is an interesting idea, and it is on Ethereum. They do have similar services on Ethereum,
Mm.
which people are using. I'm not sure. I read the white paper. I'm not sure if it's the same way, but I know that on the Ethereum NFT pawning sites, it's like a decentralized pawning. So you put up your NFT for collateral, and then you kind of have your terms that you're asking for, and then on the other end you have loan lenders and loaners that come in and like, okay, I'll accept those terms, and then all it is like a matchmaking, and then you both put your things into the smart contract, and then if the terms are met, it spits it out either way, right? Like you repay the loan, you get your NFT back, and if you don't, then the person who lent it gets the NFT. I'm not sure if Pawn Shop Nomis is running the same way. Do you know?
That part about people on the other end, so not the person who's lending the NFT, but the other side, the guys who
Yeah,
are.
the lenders.
I'm not yeah, I'm not exactly sure who's the lending part.
I see.
I do know that there's a lot of talk about heavier investors coming in. So maybe those guys might be the lenders. So I mean, basically, there's big talks about big VCs coming in to join in on this project.
Yeah.
And so on that information, I paper handed my pawn shop, my little my no me back
Yeah.
when it was like 2 SOL or something
Yeah.
like that.
Oh, you did better
But
than me. I paper handed most of mine like at 1. I only have 1 left, so
doesn't help that they're so ugly. But
yeah,
anyways,
that did not help.
but after hearing that, I was like, shoot.
Mhm.
Okay, because the thing is, I liked the idea. I really did like the idea, and I think in the beginning I had my skepticism about whether or not they could actually code it and build it off, because
Right.
nobody was building things successfully. Everybody would say, "I'm going to
Promise and
build
then
X, Y,
yeah.
Z," yeah, and then they failed. And so I'm like, okay. But once I started hearing word that these guys had their demo, people liked the demo on Dev, and they have a VC backing, I was like, shoot, all
Yeah.
right, maybe I gotta jump back in on this guy.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean,
Yeah,
I
I've heard the
picked
same
another gnome
things.
back up.
I've heard the same
Yeah,
things that they have VCs interested and they have their thing working on testnet right now. Like evidently you can play
right,
with it. So
right.
but it is true. Like there's so many projects that just promise this roadmap of utility tools and they show screenshots and these things and then they just rug. Like Truth Vials rugged this past week. They had this tool that was supposed to let you spy on whale wallets, which is kind of funny
Yeah.
because the guy in Grim Syndicate actually built something that actually does what the Truth Vials was promising, and then Truth Vials like, hey, wait till Sunday, and then on Sunday they rugged. They just deleted everything and took the money. So it is pretty common. So like that's the challenge, right? Like identifying which teams are actually developing and building things and which ones are going to rug. Because even with DeFi, it's the same thing. DeFi is similar problems. You promise a roadmap and nothing
I
happens.
think a lot of these projects that have that promise of utility or whatever, um, I get skeptical about projects if they don't have something to show.
Right.
Like Panzer Games, they had a demo straight up. So I was like, man, okay, these look nice, so I'll go with that. Um, Colony, they don't exactly have a demo, but they have a good working product already behind it.
Right. And they just got
So
YC funding too.
yeah, and
So
so
that's
like
pretty huge validation.
I feel like you can see progress from the projects or from the teams that actually mean it. The only problem with Solana is that, or the people in Solana, is that they're just ADHD and they don't see something in like 2 seconds. They're
Yeah.
like, oh my god, let's dump it.
Yeah. The
So
fast and cheap transactions is a blessing and a curse for
yeah,
NFTs because on Ethereum you're almost forced to hodl a lot of times because
right.
it's so expensive, and then
Mhm.
you also don't buy cheap projects on Ethereum because it's like so expensive to buy them even, or you don't want to be
Right.
stuck with them. So like there's a lot of forced hodling in Ethereum, but for Solana it's so cheap and fast. It's like I don't see a profit in 6 hours. I'm dumping, and trying to find something else.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, I mean, so I'll probably just hold on to my pawn shop Nomi for now. Kind of sucks because I'm kind of running low on liquidity. I think I've had the wrong strategy. I was talking to you about this off air, but I've been like trying to like lock away profits or percentage of profits every time I sell. But that kind of leaves me with like very small liquidity to kind of ape into things, which is kind of bad. So like I'm holding like some bounty hunters and a lot of Grim Syndicate and things that I could sell right now and get liquidity, but I'm like, I don't know, like it's not as much as it could have been if I sold. I'm just thinking maybe I should change my strategy and not lock away so much stuff. Maybe you just gotta YOLO it
it's
in the ecosystem some more because the ecosystem is very young. Like that's the thing, right? It's like 4 or 5 months old. So
mhm.
I don't know.
It's hard. I mean, I think I, I'm trying to think about what kind of amount of soul you should have to
Right.
feel like you
That's
can do
enough.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think in my head right now, 20 is hard. It's doable. It's doable. You could totally have 20 and then just do well, but then you need to then you got to be more selective on what projects you do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and as you increase from 20, your selection process can be a little bit more lakhs, I think.
Yeah.
Right. So once you get to like 50, then you're like, okay, I can maybe degen on like about 4 to 5 cheaper ones,
Right.
And then as you increase even more, 100, then you can be like, all right, this is where I can like, if I see a good project at 1 sol, even though 1 sol's kind of pricey right now, I can just go 5, 10 sol on that guy and be no
Mm-hmm.
problem.
And if you have that kind of liquidity, you can also like take bets on secondary too without worrying too much. Like you can buy into like Mindfolk at 7 and when it was kind of popping off.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah. Like I think at that point, if you have 100 or something, then your the way you shop on secondary is kind of the same way as if you were shopping, as if you were minting with only 20 sol, right?
right.
You or not 20 sol, maybe 50 sol, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you you can do it, you can degen on some secondaries, but you still got to be selective about what you're going to pick.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to just be like, oh, dolphin whales is good, let's just
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
ape in on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like as you just obviously, yeah, 100's good for secondary, but to do just degen aping on secondary, I think you need more
Yeah.
than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the trap that I fell into where it's like, oh, I'm kind of short on liquidity. So I'm going to do more of the degen free mints, which is like the wrong idea to do. Right. But I've been kind of lucky. I mean, I got rugged on some, but like there was some where I was like my big problem was I've been just doing a lot of things in the degen mint channel and monkey DAO where they just post like these things and they're all like, I guess it's kind of like what you're saying. They probably have a lot more liquidity rather than mine. While mine's is like all locked up. I take profits and I stake it because I don't want to touch it because I really think Solana is going to go up in like a year or two anyway, like way higher than it is now. So I'm trying to make sure that I have enough Solana locked away. But there was a couple of projects like that Solana Pepe Serious Business was like a free mint basically. And so like it went from like 0.05 and I think it went like 0.15. And so like if you have like 100 of them, you could do not bad on those things because it really is like it's like a 2 to 3x on like a really small price tag. But it's kind of like that's to do that, like it's kind of like the risk is just as high because you need to buy volume to make any kind of significant gains. But there's been things like that, kind of interesting stuff coming up. But I did get rugged a couple of times this week. Just
Yeah.
the baby boogles thing. I did bad. Like I bought on secondary because I saw it kind of going up, and then like literally the day after, like they just rugged. The team rugged, and so
I lucked out on that one, I think.
yeah, you whitelisted and you sold right away. That's kind of like what you got to do. It's kind of hard to see. And then that's the thing too, right? With roadmaps, we're talking about like Baby Book was on the roadmap. Like, oh, we're gonna do tools, and then as soon as the mint was done, like, oh, we're just gonna do alpha. It's like, okay, that's a bad sign, They probably
I
sold
didn't
right
even
away.
see that.
Yeah, like as soon as they minted, like, oh, everybody's doing tools, so just we're gonna do alpha. So, but yeah, man, I don't know. One more thing on the top of my mind, projects wise, are you playing Remnants right now? Remnants?
I have Revenants, but I tried using their site and it didn't work for me. So
Yeah, they just ran an upgrade yesterday, so it's working again. I've been playing it, and
okay.
it's kind of interesting. Like, right, like it's kind of one of those things where you see the team putting in this much work, they're probably not going to run away. So it gives you a little bit confidence in that those terms because what they're doing is kind of a lot of work, and they have like a pretty long roadmap but they're still delivering on their thing. Like you can play the game now. I meant it 3 and I just gave one away on Grim Syndicate to someone that didn't get it. But yeah, it's kind of interesting, and they're gonna finish out their mint I think this week.
The
So
15th.
yeah. I probably shouldn't have given it away. The one that I had, extra one that I had, should have just kept it.
Well, maybe here's your chance to get mint some more. It seems like
Yeah,
they're only minting a limited number, I think.
I'm not sure, but yeah, it's kind of interesting. It's like it's a Solana gaming, like Panzer Dogs. It's kind of a like PvP, like real time PvP, and then Remnants is more like an idle game where you just like, but it works. Like it works like an idle game and better than some of the other ones that I've tried on other ecosystems. I'm not sure what they're doing with their tokenomics, but I'm just collecting a lot of these camp tokens by sending my guys out on missions. And
Yeah, I mean, I definitely need to try that out. I mean, same thing. I think I minted about 3 of them, and I've seen some excitement from other people. They're like, I guess one of the features is one of your remnant guys, your campers, can become a zombie or
Yeah,
something at some
yeah,
point, right? And I think the first person who, or one of the first zombies, like everybody was getting all crazy. They're like, oh my gosh, one guy became a zombie. And so when you get that kind of excitement in a game, at least to me, that sounds like, hey, they're doing something good. It's actually working. And when when projects make something, um, something on PTE or whatever, idle gaming, if you can get that kind of excitement, that's a good thing. That means it's working. So um Koff's game, right? I don't know if you've
yeah.
seen that one going on, but that one got super hyped. Unfortunately, they messed up, but it people like the gaming aspects of these NFTs, and I feel like Solana, if they can really keep it going, um, that's such a good space to be in. Aurori tried it, right? I mean,
Mhm.
Star Atlas, those were the first OG gaming guys. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, like it's definitely a cool space, but I think there's a lot of hard work for the developers to get through.
Oh
Like
yeah, I
it's
mean
such a hard thing to do.
it's like challenging to build a successful game without
Right.
using cryptocurrency, and then you're gonna
Right.
bring that blockchain stuff in, and you're developing on Rust too. It's like super hard mode, like extreme mode. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting because like if these games work and people enjoy playing them for the sake of playing them,
Mhm.
like wouldn't that just, I don't know if that's just me thinking, but like wouldn't that just increase the value of these NFTs if they're required to play them, if people actually want to play? And that's kind of like
Right.
what these developers need to do, is create an experience or something that's worth playing. And you can't really do this on Ethereum because it's so expensive to use the network. Like you have
Mhm.
cyberkongs in Ethereum where it's basically like dragons on Solana. It's very similar, where you get like tokens, and then you can use the tokens as utility to like mint new NFTs or sell them right away. But
Mhm.
it's not really like a game where you're actively trying to do things in the system.
Yeah. So I was saying like that's kind of why I like Remnants. They're It's a slow game, it's a slow play, but like that's kind of how you build that excitement. And if more and more people start playing it, and it gets, um, I mean, obviously people upgrade their guys, I think, right? And as you get playing, you get higher up into the game, and if that excitement continues, and people start seeing it, they're already late, and
Yeah,
so
yeah,
the price should go a lot higher. And so that's where that value is in games like Remnants. I feel like
yeah. It's
you
similar to
get in
Axie
early.
Infinity, right? Like Axie Infinity
Yeah,
was similar.
right, exactly. And we all know how well that's doing.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of places that can be made, profits that can be made in that kind of
Yeah, it's
play.
kind of interesting. Like, I think for Solana, like the challenge that the project developers and project teams have when compared to other ecosystems is you really got to figure out how to keep people how to prevent people from just paper handing your stuff away because it's so easy to just list and sell and so cheap. Like there's no barriers, there's no friction to selling on Solana.
Mhm.
So like to get people to stay and diamond hand your project, that's kind of like the biggest challenge I think for Solana NFTs. And so if you can create an experience where people want to hold for a long time, and they've only been, if you can get to the point where they're not checking prices, those are probably the projects that are going to do pretty well. I'm just hoping that you can spend these camp tokens on something in the future because I'm just racking them up right now,
I
sending
gotta
my
get
guys
myself
out.
on there soon.
Yeah, your guys collect loot too, and I was kind of wondering if you could sell the loot, but it doesn't look like the loot is actually tokens that you could sell. It's just like in-game items that you just use. But
Interesting,
but the
because
coins are tokens. I can see the coins in my wallet that you earn in the game, so those probably will have
okay,
a secondary market for them.
it's interesting that they use loot because that's what Cop Game does too.
It's called camp tokens. The looting is the game. It's called looting when you send your guy out because you're like
Ah,
looting an
okay,
area. So the coin is called camp, I think.
got it.
Yeah.
Let's
Anything
look
else
that up
that's kind of
too.
like on your top of mind, project wise, or things that are kind of interesting that you've been noticing?
Well, the only other one that I'm looking at, maybe I'm more excited about this week. I just looked at my list and it's on the bottom, but it's one of my more ones that I'm more excited about is was Bitmon. it's like a Pokemon type game, right? It's about 10,000 supply. I don't think they have a price yet, but it looks cool. Like when you go in, you see the art. It's really quality. You know, it pretty much looks like Pokemon type art. It's not like a pixel type thing. But I believe it's OX Bustos. I don't know if that's how you say his name, but anyways, that's his project. He's the same guy who did Monket Business,
Okay.
Solana Monket Business.
Yeah, the derivative, the free airdrop derivative.
Yeah, yeah, and he seems to be building up a lot of stuff, and that's kind of cool. But yeah, that one's to me exciting. I don't know if it's just because it's exciting because my kids like Pokemon, but I don't know. I probably try to end up minting a bunch of those, but I think there's another game supposedly that's pretty popular, similar, called Pixelmon. I haven't followed that one yet, but I don't know. Might be a good thing. I mean, people like Pokemon, obviously, so maybe there's some good tokenomics gaming stuff in there that I can, get some good profit off of.
Yeah, super interesting. I'm in the server, but I don't know if I tried to whitelist. Shucks.
You're an SMB, you probably could.
Yeah, it's probably closed already. If it's popular, it probably is closed already. Shucks. Okay, well,
Yeah.
I'll take a look at that one too. Because when is that one again? 15th?
15th.
Oh, the public whitelist is on January 16th. Monkets. I sold my Monket right away, so I don't have that anymore.
They're
You know what
doing
sucks?
well though.
The Monkets are doing well now. Probably because
Yeah,
they're trying to get the whitelist for this Bitmon. Is that why?
I think it's more than that. It's
Really?
probably tied to the solar app too, right?
Oh no, that's
Did I
Monkey
think?
Baby Business is the solar app. It's a
Oh,
different
is it?
project. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Never
Monkey
mind.
Baby Business is going crazy right now. And I sold that one at like 2 SOL or something. That was a
Oh, that's
terrible
right. That's right.
decision.
Baby business. You're right.
Yeah. The floor for Monkey Baby Business is 9 right now. I sold mine for 2. It was at 2 for a long
Nice.
time. So and I didn't know that they're gonna like they had tools on their roadmap. I was like, I don't know, tools are
I didn't. Yeah, I didn't know that either. I sold that too as well.
yeah. So
That was
yeah.
after the whole DAO SMB DAO didn't what was it? They weren't going to acknowledge them as part of the team or something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, they were, I think they were initially fishing for like inclusion in the DAO, but
Right.
the guy's in there all the time. He's in the server all the time. The guy that did the MB Monkey Baby Business. So it's not like
Mm-hmm.
he's not there. And the guys in the Monkey DAO just talk about solar all the time because it's evidently like the best on-chain minting tool.
Mm.
I have a candy cane and I use it, but it's like not anywhere near as good as what the solar guys are talking about it. That's what I'm seeing. Like, because for candy cane, I feel like I have to extract the mint like myself because I don't want to get rugged in a honey pot because they just list all the honey pots and it's like, frick, man, like why would I want to just? I don't trust, like I don't want to lose more
Yeah.
money than I'm already losing. So
Yeah.
uh,
It's expensive though, yeah. Solar
yeah,
or solar, whatever you call it.
yeah, I don't know how to pronounce it either. All right. That's pretty good, man. Like I think we got a pretty good list. I'm definitely excited for some of these things. Is there anything that you've done this past week that's kind of interesting? Should have or shouldn't have, positive or negative?
Hmm. Everything flies by so fast that I can't even remember what I did.
Uh,
Um,
I have some pretty huge mistakes. Not huge. Well, it's pretty stupid things that happen to me. Like I don't know why these things happen, but it happens pretty commonly.
I
I
think what happened was, well, sorry, for me this past week, I took it slow. I kind of and I think it's because the previous week I kind of was making a bunch of just
yeah.
randoms. And so this week I'll just kind of like, nah, I'm just kind of take it slow. And then my nitro also kind of expired and I didn't want to renew it. And so I had all these servers that I was just leaving because I didn't have enough space for my servers.
Yeah, I've been running the same problem.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a pretty slow week, I think, in terms of stuff.
Yeah, I had bought like a Dino King like a long time ago for like 0.59 Sol, and it was stuck there for like a month or not a month. It's so hard to gauge how long it was, but it felt like a long time. And so I finally just sold it, and the thing just shot up to like 2.5 the next day. Like that sucks. That always happens for some reason. I'm like the bottom signal. When I sell, is like the bottom signal for some reason.
It's strange. I've seen a lot of those, a lot of that kind of thing happen where it just dumps down to like, like dead zones and then all of a
Mhm.
sudden it comes back up. But
Yeah, I
yeah, I mean, it
think
just kind of goes to show you can never tell really what's going to happen to something.
yeah, and it's so hard to like keep on top of every single project. Like I bought it because I was noticing like a big pump and dump waves coming in. Like right around that time that I bought it, I was like, oh crap, all these projects are like pumping out of nowhere, basically. And so I was
Mhm.
like, oh, let me take a shot at this one because it seems like it has. I was looking at the numbers on Soul Sniper and on Soul Radar. I was like, this thing looks like it's gonna pump, and then it never did until I sold it for like for for like a fraction of a tiny profit of what it could have been.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I also minted a bunch of degen stuff, and that's kind of like should not do that as much anymore. I think because I don't know, man. I gotta build up the reserves again because I'm so like invested in a bunch of this garbage right now. I don't know what to do with it. I should have like tax loss harvested a bit last year, I think, at the end of the year.
mm,
But I did the baby bogle for 3.5. I bought it, and the thing's worthless now. So I don't know what to do with these things.
no.
Yeah,
Just keep it.
keep it forever.
But
They're trying to derug a little bit right now, but I don't know how successful that's gonna be. Yeah, I've never seen a
yeah,
successful derug on Solana yet, only on Ethereum.
I'm trying to look at my list of stuff that I did, and it's funny because I'm looking at these things, and I said that I didn't really do anything last week, but I think all these things were from last week. So it's just like I can't tell what the time is anymore
Yeah,
because
yeah.
these mints, there's so many mints that just come through. I'm just like, what? We did that frame boy last week, I think.
Right. We did Frame Boy. Did you sell? Are
Yeah.
you out of that completely, or you still got?
No, I still have my three because um, the first one I sold covered everything else, but looks like it's back down to mint.
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
it's back down to mint. But I mean, it's not too bad. It's only like about four of them back down at mint price. But
Mhm.
I don't know. I think I'm just gonna hold it indefinitely.
Yeah,
I think they're a decent one, decent
yeah,
looking. Some people hate it, but I like it.
yeah. That was kind of like another uh one of those things that kind of minted out of nowhere too, right? Like they're trying to mint for a long time, and then suddenly it got picked up.
Yeah, and there was a lot of those last week.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not really
think
sure why.
it was just like a slow week. I think it was just a slow week where people were looking for things to do, and I
Mhm.
think that's why I got stuck in a lot of these degen like free mint projects. Like I minted this gangster gorilla thing. Like I got a bunch of
I think
those, and then it's like, but the mint was like 0.02 mint, so it was like free, basic, almost free, like $2 basically.
yeah.
And that thing is like I said, like you need like 1,000 of them to make like any kind of real money. It's kind of like penny stocking a little bit,
Right. There
but
was that other one that we did too. That boat in a bottle thing.
oh yeah, I didn't even write those down because I just figured that I'm never gonna be able to sell those things. The pirate ship, soul pirate ships.
Yeah. Yeah, sold pirate ships. But what's funny is I think I actually sold some.
That is amazing. I never and sold it for profit too.
Um I don't remember.
Yeah.
I only have two sold pirate ships. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to look back at it. But
Yeah.
yeah. Let me just check to see if that actually sold.
I also minted
Same.
some of this Solana Serious Pepe business, and that thing was like a point
Mm,
zero 0.05 mint, and that thing is weird because it's been going up, and I don't really know why. I sold most of them, but I still have like two left.
yeah. That wasn't that thing like like last month or something that
They're
thing minted?
trying to, and then they just dropped the price because nobody was minting it, and then that's kind of like where people pick it up, like these free. They call them free mints. They're not free, but they're super low cost, right? And if you're just looking to 2x, like a small
Yeah.
2x, then you can kind of do it with these tiny mints, these free mints. So,
Interesting. I actually have two of them.
oh, you minted them before? I think the price was a
Yeah.
lot higher before
I don't remember how much. No, I think I might have written it down.
because I minted them for
Anyways.
0.05, and I think I think they're originally minting for like point 0.2 or something.
Mm.
How much garbage do you have in your wallets? Do you have like a lot of garbage, or are you able to clear most things out?
I have a decent amount of garbage. I've got a bunch of. I mean, I clear out a bunch too, but those terrestrial T-Rex things. I have like about 8 of those. I don't know what this heroin NFT is.
uh,
This is there's this one cyber dragon one that I got. I got the very first one. I was so excited, but then well, I wasn't that excited, but I thought it was cool that I got the first one, but then they just completely trashed it. Got a flipped Bored Apes Yacht Club. um, yeah, I don't know. Various trash, but not a terrible amount.
yeah, I feel like you're pretty good at getting out of projects before they just go to zero. Like that's where I get stuck all the time, which is why I have a lot of garbage because I don't get out quickly enough.
Yeah, like I try to, but at the
Yeah.
same time, so like I do have this trash, and I'm like I hate seeing these things in my wallet. But and I know like some people they're just like, oh, just make another wallet and throw it in there.
Yeah.
But I I don't like that either. So I ended up getting a mortuary,
Uh-huh.
and I'm gonna try that out. I haven't tried it yet, but I like the idea that you can burn your NFT and get ash for it,
Yeah.
and then that ash you can trade it in for one of their other NFT. I forget what they call it, but I'm gonna try that out.
Yeah. I was thinking
I
about
like that
getting one of
idea.
those too, but I'm pretty low on liquidity right now. So I gotta make some money off Solana Pep and serious business first, and then maybe I can think of a mortuary. Oh, speaking of like projects that are kind of coming back, I don't know if you noticed, but famous foxes are kind of making a little bit of a comeback. I don't know what they're doing, but
Yeah, I've noticed that, and so I think it's because they've been getting a lot of collaborations with people.
I think for their swap
Um,
swap app, right? Like they're trying to give Foxy to people to use the swap app. Is that what's going on?
yeah, like I know Mikolani, they kind of partnered with them, or I don't know if it's like an official partner, but I know that they've talked about it. You know,
Mhm.
they keep mentioning foxes. Um, there was another project I can't remember, but
Grims partnered with Foxes too for their swap thing. They got like
yeah.
so it's kind of like Yaw. The
Uh,
Yaw it's basically the same thing as Yaw. That's kind of maybe
right.
that's the play because the quantum traders kind of took off,
Mhm.
and then the Foxy the famous Fox swap app is basically the same thing as Yaw, and maybe that's the play right there. That's the reason why.
Right. Maybe. I haven't seen their Foxy tokens value recently.
Oh,
So
it's
I mean,
like
if
a
that's
penny. I have a bunch.
oh,
Yeah.
okay, well, that's not it then. But the other project that I was trying to find out who they collaborated with was Chimpions, which obviously is a huge one. I don't know. I don't know why. I get why that they're so big, but I mean, so if for anybody who doesn't know, Chimpions is like what a 200 supply mint, right? I
Mhm.
think, and it's another monkey type thing, pixel pixel profile picture type thing, and the art looks good. I mean, they do a good job, but they've got so much hype, like so many people like following them, and they're I think the first project that's like okay, you can only get it whitelist only, right?
Yeah.
Um, and so that just drove up so much hype, and
Mm.
they still haven't released yet. But anyways, they supposedly have some sort of collaboration with Fox as well.
Interesting.
Um,
Huh.
yeah, so I don't know why. I don't know what the details are, but uh, that was my assumption as to why they were kind of coming up.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I noticed that a lot of people that I've been following too are kind of buying into Foxes again. So it's like, oh, I might be
Yeah,
able to break
five
even.
five soul floor. It's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah. Because it was like a 2 for a while. I should have bought more at 2, but that's the thing, man. Like when you buy and then the project goes down, I have a hard time buying more to better my and cost basis. Like
Mm,
I just psychologically I struggle with that. Like I buy it at 6 and then it goes down to 2. Like I know I should buy more at 2, but I don't. Same with like bounty
right.
hunters. Like I minted at 1, goes down to point 0.6. Like I know I should buy more, but I don't. And now it's like at
Mhm.
2 to 3.
It's just scary when it dumps low.
Yeah.
I don't know. But no, you're right. Like there's certain times where I just see a price. I'm like, that seems like a really good deal.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Sometimes I do it. Like sometimes I just jump in on it because there's just a feeling of how it's selling, like
Uh-huh.
the way that the volume is going. It just
Yeah.
kind of like, okay, I think I gotta jump in on
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of how I was with dragons, and like I was like, man, this volume is insane. Like I haven't seen this kind of volume before, and so
Yeah.
like
It's like
I
Solstead's
still,
volume, right? Like Solstead's was kind
yeah,
of
it was like
similar.
Solstead, except it kept going.
Yeah. Yeah.
But um yeah, I still remember like when I bought the second dragon, I was just like, what am I after I bought it, I was like, what am I doing? You know, like it's so
Seems
much
so
soul. And
expensive at the time. Yeah.
yeah, it was so expensive at the time. I was just like, what am I doing? But most projects don't have that kind of hype. I
Yeah.
don't
The
feel like so
Dragons
it
team is
becomes
executed
harder.
so well. Like I it's so impressive and surprising to me that if they've done so well like for such a sustained period of time. Because Solana is like so ADHD, like people just dump stuff right away. But the Dragons had just executed in a way where even the baby
Mhm.
dragons are worth a lot now. So
Yeah.
pretty impressive.
And like the way they exude themselves, even like in the chat and stuff, there's so much confidence
Mhm.
in the way they show themselves. They're like, it's basically whenever they talk, everyone feels at ease. You know, whenever there's people that are like fudding things and stuff like
Yeah.
that, they come in, they talk, and people are like, okay, okay, we're fine.
Yeah, that's the thing that the Solana monkey business doesn't have is that they don't have the team involved. Like the
Oh
monkey
yeah.
DAO isn't was an independent DAO that's so set up just by holders.
Right,
And
right.
I think the only other team that kind of is involved regularly is maybe the Degen Apes, but and
Mm-hmm.
like talking like higher value NFTs. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm sure like some of the utility stuff like Super Secret Coder, they're pretty active too. And but as far as like community for like NFT PFP projects, like probably Dragons, as far as like high value teams that are led by like the creators, like probably
Yeah.
Dragons are the best. I feel like Grim Syndicate
I
is. I feel like Grim Syndicate. I'm still pretty bullish on them just because the team is like such a good team. It's just that I think what's hurting Grim is like the supply is 10,000,
mm,
and it's Solana. Like Solana
mhm.
people don't like 10,000 supply for whatever
That's
reason.
true. It's
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, every time I hear about Grims, it's always like, you know, it's a great community, it's a great team, and like it's I don't know if it's like a bit sad to say that it feels like that their team it's more they are more community driven, it feels like, and they are more heartfelt. They're not there to like just kill it, you know, like
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
terms of like roll over the competition, you know, they're
Yeah.
not that kind of mentality. And so like in some sense that maybe that hurts that, but I feel like their community is probably way stronger than most
Yeah.
in that
Yeah.
regards.
It's kind of the ones because even like I haven't seen a community like that. Like I'm in Monkey DAO, and Monkey DAO is pretty cool, but it's not led by the original Monkey Solana Monkey Business creators. And Grim Syndicate, the community there is pretty tight, and it's the same guys in there all the time. So I don't know. I feel like it's undervalued still. I feel like even at 10K, it should be higher. And I'm probably gonna put this in the big intro when I re-record the intro, but not financial advice. None of this that we're talking about is financial advice. But yeah, I don't know. And bounty hunters, I think what bounty hunters is doing is really interesting, and I kind of feel like they're kind of still undervalued. Although I still can't bring myself to buy more, probably just because I'm so illiquid. But their auction house idea is pretty fascinating to me. Do you hear what they're doing with their auction house?
No.
Okay, so they're doing this staking like a lot of people do. So similar to like Famous Foxes, where you can take your NFT and stake them, and but they also have like a bunch of other in-universe NFTs that they've been airdropping, and you can do so. Like they airdropped for anybody that minted with FLP, they airdropped an Amoran shard. I don't know if you got it, if you minted with me. And you can stake that as well for like a lesser yield, and then they're airdropping blasters for every single bounty hunter now that you can stake as well and earn that the bounty token. And they're releasing this thing right after they launch staking, where they're releasing this in-universe auction house, which they're gonna put up blue chip NFTs that are in their treasury, for auction that you can only buy with the bounty token.
Mm.
So you're gonna be bidding on these like in their DAO treasury, they have like a SMB, super secret coders, like a bunch of interesting thing portals. They have a bunch of interesting things in there that they're gonna be auctioning off to bounty hunters with the bounty credits. And so like they're airdropping 2,000 bounty credits to every bounty hunter this week, I think. And then we're gonna be able to stake starting next week, and then the auctions start pretty soon right after that. And so like the only way that you can bid and buy these things are gonna be with those credits. And it's like, man, that's like kind of like one of the coolest in-universe utility token utilities that I've heard of so far, other than like because a lot of people do the minting new set or whatever with the tokens, but it's like, man, like imagine being able to buy like a SMB with this free token that you got just from like holding these things,
Yeah.
being able to
No,
buy
that's
like a
smart.
super secret coder with these tokens. Yeah. And it's auctions.
Do,
So like it could be like way undervalued too, because nobody really has a bunch.
right, right. Do you know if it's is it burned after that?
The
The token.
tokens, I think
Yeah.
they're burned in the auction process. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. I got to read the white paper again, but yeah, I think that's what the idea is. Like you use them and then it's burned, because you're also going to be able to use them to buy more of these in-universe NFTs that you can stake. So
Yeah.
you can instead of like bidding on the auction, like you don't have enough to get, bid up to win an SMB or a super secret coder, you can just go ahead and buy more blasters or buy more ships or whatever, and then you can stake those and then get more of these credits that you can use in future auctions. So, and
Mm.
their treasury is like constantly adding new projects, and the DAO kind of votes on what projects you want to sweep. They want to sweep. So I can show you their wallet. It's kind of interesting. I thought it was a really interesting idea, which is why I'm like, man, bounty hunters are still kind of undervalued right now, because I think a lot of people don't know that that's what they're going to do within the next couple of weeks. But I don't know, maybe not.
It's smart.
Yeah,
I mean, no, it's smart that what they're doing in terms of an auction. Well, for one, there's an auction house because
uh-huh.
you don't have too many of those. Holoplex is okay. But I think they need to improve. But
Yeah,
the fact that you can have another auction place, that's good. And then two, if it's only using what's the token called?
bounty.
Bounty. Yeah. So
Yeah,
if you're only using Bounty for your auctioning, that's really good for the for their own ecosystem.
right.
And the whole burning of that, well, if they do burn it,
Mhm.
that's good, I imagine. But if it's only going to be using Bounty, maybe they can't burn it. But anyways, the whole idea is like, if they have the right tokenomics for it, then you have a good token and you have a good product, then yeah, I can see that being good success for them.
Yeah, so I just linked in the chat the DAO treasury collection. So they have an SMB, a DGen Ape, portals,
DAO, I
a
haven't heard
bunch
that
of
in a while.
was that?
Tower DAO, I haven't heard of them for a while.
Yeah. I think they just use it to show what they have in the in their collection, but they have like a bunch of Enviro passes,
Nice.
two quantum traders. I don't know what happened to their super secret coders. It's not in here anymore. Where is it? Interesting. I don't know what happened to those. It's kind of sketchy. They got a bunch of D gods, a bunch of I'm gonna have to go into the chat and find out what happened to their super secret coders, because it was in there. Well, maybe they traded for something. I don't know. Maybe they voted on selling it and buying other things. I'm not sure. But yeah, I thought it was a pretty cool idea, and that it's been out there for kind of a bit, but I don't think people are following the project. But the project was the floor was 0.6 for a long time, and now it's like at 2 something. So I think some people did catch on. Yeah.
Shouldn't have dropped mine.
Yeah.
Well.
So that's episode 1. Thank you so much for listening. If you would like to follow us on Twitter, I set up a new Twitter account. It's at Focused Alpha NFT. And if you want to follow our good friend Dev Pake, it's at Dev Pake. And if you want to follow me, it's at Ryan. Ryan spelled Rayan. Thank you all so much for listening, and we'll see you all next week in the next episode.